Today I'm going to give you a quick brief on how I would brief myself for a flight. We're going to do a quick virtual flight today to Bremen in Germany from my home base in Teuge in the Netherlands. So just for those of you who aren't aware, right there is the Netherlands, and in the middle of the Netherlands, or the upper middle of the Netherlands, is a small location called Teuge. Now, to kick this off, you just simply need to touch on one location. I know where Bremen is, just up here. Oh, a little more. And this is the flight that we're looking to have. Now, I also know that there's a restricted area here that if we simply change our planning a little bit to fly down this way a little, we actually miss all of the restricted areas and just about everything of any sort of consequence on the way. I have had a look at this flight in the past, so this will be a very quick overview in terms of what I would normally do. But today, the weather is not great. So what that means is we will need to ignore some of the weather warnings because I'm having a virtual flight anyway. So if you want any deeper understanding as to how you should deal with this, then please take a look at the SkyDemon website to really get a deep dive on exactly what you should be doing rather than what I'll be doing today. So the first thing is for me is to take a look at the altitude here. In fact, 3,000 feet is probably a little higher than I really want to be, mainly because there's no need to be that high here in the Netherlands. There's not a lot to fly over. It's actually a fairly low country in general, as most of you know. Some of the locations here, in fact, underwater. We will set this up, and I'm very familiar with Teuge in terms of the requirements and to get out of the area. I'll just do a quick zoom in here so you can understand what the pattern looks like and what the exit looks like. So given today's weather, I expect that we'll actually be leaving via 08, which will give us essentially a straight out departure, I should say, with a small kick to 45 as we leave, and then out directly out to our next waypoint. Now I've selected just a random waypoint over here to get us across the border into Germany. As we are crossing the border, I would normally need to log a flight plan, which I won't be doing today again because it's a virtual flight. From here, the next thing that we need to think about is coming into Bremen, of course, what it looks like, what the requirements are. Now, Bremen is Class Bravo, which requires us to do a little bit more work in terms of what we're doing to get into the airport. So taking a look at the airfield, we will have a look here at Bremen. As you can see there, it is actually instrument at the moment. We're going to ignore that for today's flight just because, again, we're doing it virtually. But we have an aerodrome chart, which I am familiar with. I'll just project that over the Bremen location at the moment. And you can see that we will be finishing right here in the center, which is essentially where the GA parking is. That will be the first thing. The next thing is the approach charts for this airport are a little interesting. Nothing too exciting, really. You just have to meet at Whiskey out here, which I will move to now, and then follow in a major freeway all the way into Sierra 2, and then from there into the pattern. So here is another view, and this is where we will be running today. Takes a second there just to update, and into Bremen itself. As I mentioned, the weather's ugly. Let's not spend a lot of time on that. We are VFR, expected VFR to leave at the moment, but the arrival is instrument at the moment. And any of the warnings here we'll take a look at. So we have a Bremen Class D, which is the Bremen Airport itself, and then along the way there's a TMZ, which is also of no real consequence to us at the moment. Outside of that, there's no other warnings. Whether the aircraft is set, we have a 60-minute flight. I will actually change this to blue skies. As you can see, it's going to tell me the aircraft's overloaded. Cessna 152 is one of the joys, of course. I will modify this because I will be taking this flight by myself today. So I have the capability to run a lot more fuel and essentially run a full fuel scenario, so no issue with weight and balance there as well. The final thing that I will take a look at is, of course, the radios. We need to have ourselves abreast of what the radio requirements are for the airport we're flying into. Again, I know the requirements on the way up, and to do that, we will simply hold down over the Bremen area. Bremen Tower is 120330. Bremen auxiliary tower 134830. So these are the required radios. Langen information is for the border crossing will require that as well. So this is a very basic, very quick and dirty let's go flying for this particular flight to Echo Delta Delta Whiskey, which is the Bremen Airport. A very interesting location. It's got some really good GA facilities. So if you ever want to get in there, there's very good reports here. A whole lot of pilot notes and feedback on what the airport looks like as well and how you get in and out. It's very in depth in terms of what you can see here. But also there's a whole lot of additional notes in the Bremen guidebook for pilots, I suppose is the best way to put it. So this is it. This is us. We're going to go do that flight now, and we will see you in the soon.